Barcelona in Spain, the venue for the final race weekend at the Blancpain GT Sports Club. Hello everybody, final race in prospect here in the beautiful Sunday sunshine of this late September day. Well, cars heading out at the pit lane for the final time this season after an entertaining first encounter yesterday, which saw the pole man not once but twice beaten for the lead and having to fight his way back for victory. The sole Mercedes in the field, that of Russia's Denis Remignaco, was the man who started on pole, ended up winning, but the story in between in the 45-minute encounter was very different from straightforward. Track temperature hovering just below 20 degrees after a cool, clear night, and the air temperature 21 and due to climb towards about 30 degrees during the course of what is going to be a bit of a scorching Catalan Sunday. I'm Martin Haven, cars heading out onto the grid, and with yesterday's race encounter sealing all our championships, the overall driver's crown, the Titanium Cup for drivers aged 50 to 59 and the Iron Cup for drivers aged 60 plus. Then there is nothing much left to do but go out and enjoy racing some fabulous machinery in beautiful conditions on one of the world's best circuits. So looking here at the green and white Ferrari of Louis-Philippe Cernan, man who ended up winning the Iron Cup after Stephen Earle's Ferrari picked up a puncture from collision with one of the Lamborghinis. Lamborghini went off track, came back on, bumped into Stephen Earle, who was going by, minding his own business, and the long-term legacy of which was a puncture for the Ferrari. Stephen Earle ended up winning the Iron Cup nevertheless. Looking here at Francesco Fangio, number 55, Federico Fangio rather, the number 55 AF Corsa Ferrari. One of the Ferraris here in traditional Rosso Corsa. The other two, including the 111 car of Stephen Earle, in the more Dayglow modern Ferrari racing livery, if you like. A colour that you'll find on their Formula One cars, but that is the classic Rosso Corsa. The green Tiger livery, this is the car of Coach Mackenzie, the German driver, his Lamborghini Huracan, run by HP Racing International. Mackenzie, the champion in the Titanium Cup. Race winner in Monza, race winner in Paul Ricard, and race winner in both encounters at Spa. He was also the Titanium Cup race winner in the first race here yesterday. He will start on the outside, the front row of the grid. And on pole position again will be yesterday's race winner, Denis Remignaco, the Mercedes driver, fastest in both qualifying periods in the qualifying session for the GT Sports Club yesterday. There's the car that lines up fourth, Kessel Racing Ferrari of Murad Sultanov. It's a familiar position for him. That's exactly where he was on the race one grid. By the time they got into turn one, he had inserted himself between the front row starters and dived through to take the lead. Now, the lead didn't last all the way through. He fought his way back up and down in the podium positions, ending up with second place at the end of the race. So it was an entertaining race for him as well. The Russian driver, though, made a blistering start. Well, there is his compatriot, Denis Remignaco. And Remignaco started on pole yesterday. And again, a storied race from him as he fought his way back through to lead. And then, having been passed by the GT2 Audi of James Sofronas away from a safety car mid-race, fought his way back past the quicker Audi as well. His Mercedes clearly much better late in the race on brakes than the GT2 Audi was. He was always over the back of Sofronas, into the corners. Sofronas, for most of the race, until about the final 5 minutes, had enough traction off the corner to keep his nose in front. But then some great racing thinking by Remignaco, managed to dive down the inside of the Audi and take a well-deserved victory. Hard fought and very, very well played out. So Denis Remignaco comes to front of the field. It'll be a rolling start for the race. And he'll have Coach McKenzie on his left. Luigi Lucchini lines up in third place, another Ferrari, and his car run by BMS Scuderia Italia. Remignacco with the Capital Racing team starting on pole position. There is Lucchini. BMS Scuderia Italia colours, the familiar red with the white noseband and the white stripes across the roof, has graced a whole mouth-watering selection of Ferraris in GT racing for the last 15 or 20 years. BMS Scuderia Italia also Formula One entrant in the 90s. Jens-Rainer Müller ended up winning the title outright in the Renault Racing Honda NSX, the first major sports car title for the new shape NSX GT3. Also victorious in North America, and a whole host of IMSA titles up for grabs in the next couple of weeks for Honda's NSX, or the Acura NSX as it is branded in the States, in the US market. And yesterday was notable for the reappearance of GT2, and you can see the head of Audi's customer racing down there on the grid with the GT2 machine. James Sofronas flying in from the US, very experienced GT racer in the IMSA WeatherTech series, and he's been given the honour of debuting this GT2 car. Of course, there isn't yet a GT2 championship in which it can race, so the GT Sports Club is its first outing. And you can see that the Audi R8 there looking very different from the GT3 cars. That big snorkel air intake, much higher, wider rear wing, and more aerodynamic trim around the front and sides of the car as well. Undoubtedly engine power ramped up, braking, damping, everything. Another step forward from GT3. So Denis Remignacco, Coach McKenzie, row 1 of our grid. Mercedes and Lamborghini. Row 2, Ferraris of Luigi Lucchini on your left, driver's right, and Murad Sultanov for BMS Scuderia Italia and Kessel. Jens-Rainer Müller in the Honda with James Sofronas in the GT2 Audi run by WRT. Row 4 is Angelique de Tavernier's Lamborghini and Federico Fangio's AF Corsa Ferrari. Rick Lovett in the Kessel Racing Ferrari lines up 9th, Pavel Strukov in his Lamborghini in 10th position. Stephen Earle, the Iron Cup champion, lines up 11 in 111, and Pierre Feligioni in the Boots and Gignon Lamborghini Gallardo in 12th position. The final row of the grid is Delanta Malagumawa and Louis-Philippe Cernan in Lamborghini and Ferrari respectively. The grid is cleared at the Circuit de Catalunya here in Barcelona. The cars are ready to head off on the final formation lap of the season. As the green flag waves, the safety car will lead them around, and after one lap, they will be released for the rolling start of the final race of the Blancpain GT Sports Club 2019. The safety car has beetled off. They have not yet been given the go. You can see on row 2, Murad Sultanov ready to go. Denis Remignacco and Coach McKenzie head off from row 1. Luigi Lucchini, Murad Sultanov. Then Jens-Rainer Müller, James Sofronas, Angelique de Tavernier and Frederic Fangio. And the field is complete and rolling. So Mercedes and Lamborghini on row 1. Jens-Rainer Müller confirmed as the champion ahead of Murad Sultanov. Coach McKenzie now can't catch him for second place either. Remignacco, though, ahead of the absent Limo, and Manuel Cordoni has moved up to 4th place in the championship. And James Sofronas in with a bullet, 15 points from yesterday's third place finish, straight up into 13th place, and again with a number of the names ahead of him absent. Sofronas on this one weekend will, with any luck, move his way further up the order. There he is in the Audi, starting in 6th position. And the Audi, I'm sure the team will have worked on the issues they had yesterday. This is the first time it's been raced. So that, compared to testing, producing all sorts of different pressures. And yesterday the track was very hot indeed. That may have been one of the limiting factors on its traction. The more you know about the car in race trim, the more you know about how it works, its tyres, and what you can do to mitigate against the tyre degradation. And that's certainly information that Audi will be taking away from here and pouring over as they continue development work of that GT2 R8 LMS. But for now, I'm sure Sofronas thoroughly enjoyed the race yesterday. He was full of smiles, and congratulations to those who he'd been battling with, particularly race winner Denis Remignaco. I think James Sofronas realised probably within 5 minutes of the flag, last 3 or 4 laps, that his time in front may well have been limited, no matter how hard he defended. It was hard but clean, but he also knew that for his role this weekend is to get as many racing laps under the belt of the GT2 Audi as he can, learn as much as the team can gain from it, and not interfere in other people's championship battles. So when Remignaco came calling for the final time, assuredly and assertedly, then James Sofronas, in the gentlemanly manner, stepped out of the way and allowed the Mercedes to go through and claim the victory. Again, Sofronas starting back in 6th position on yesterday's grid, was able to drive his way through fast into contention. We'll have to see how he fares in this one. In fact, Sofronas started further back, started in 8th place yesterday, not on row 3, but on row 4. Let's see how we do. Leader into the first corner yesterday from row 2 of the grid was Murad Sultanov. He started 3rd then, Luigi Lucchini 4th. Luigi Lucchini starts 3rd here, Sultanov 4th. But Sultanov in the multicoloured Ferrari on row 2 will again try and catch the front row starters napping. Whether he succeeds or not remains to be seen. So here we go, green car, Coach McKenzie, the silver car, Denis Remignaco, our pole sitter there, the front row men, safety cars pulled off, and Remignaco will pace them to the lights. And it's Lucchini in the red and white Ferrari that's looking to go down the middle. Murad Sultanov in the multicoloured car, way off where he was yesterday, and Jens Reiner Muller looking to go down the inside in the Honda. Can he get by Remignaco? No, I don't think he can. And look at James Sofronas in the Audi. As at the rolling start yesterday, the Audi's speed driving it around everybody. Sofronas up to 2nd, Jens Reiner Muller in 3rd. 4th place is Coach McKenzie from the front row of the grid, but our race leader is Denis Remignaco, the Russian, in the Mercedes. So as yesterday, top half dozen going away together, 55 in 6th position. That's Federico Fangio. But Denis Remignaco, knowing how quick the Audi was yesterday, like he did in race 1, is trying to escape. The Audi through to the front very quickly, in 2nd place ahead of the Honda of Jens Reiner Muller. So the men from the 3rd row of the grid currently running 2nd and 3rd, separating our front row starters, leader Denis Remignaco and Coach McKenzie in 4th position. Murad Sultanov not making a particularly great start, he's in 5th. Red Ferrari, the all-red Ferrari of Frederic Fangio behind him in 6th position. Then the dark blue Lamborghini, that's the 7th place car. Not a great start by the drivers who started in front of Delanta Malagumawa in the blue Lamborghini, because he tore through them. Started on row 7 and up to 7th place, so he's made up positions on half the field already. Leader will have a 1.2, 1.3 second gap at the line. James Safronas comes across 1.6 seconds back, but it's on the long, fast sections that the GT2 Audi has the advantage. Look at him pulling away at the end of the straight from Jens Reiner Muller's Honda. Coach McKenzie in 4th position, Murat Sultanov and Frederic Fangio 5th and 6th. And then the 2 Lamborghinis of Delanta Malagamua and Angelique de Tavernier, ahead of Pavel Strukov and Stephen Earle. So Coach McKenzie in 4th in the green and black Lamborghini, leading the Titanium Cup. Titanium Trophy. Oh, there was a pass there just as we cut to the replay of the start. And didn't quite come off. But Jens Reiner Muller having a little look there at the Audi of James Safronas for 2nd place. Well, Muller perhaps needs to be a little bit patient. If the Audi is quicker than him this early on, then there's no point trying to get by because it's not holding up. And Denis Remignaco in the Mercedes yesterday proved conclusively that in clear air, at least in clear air, he's got more than enough pace to handle not only the Audi, but also the Honda, the Lamborghini and the Ferraris. So the Mercedes definitely working well around this Circuit de Catalunya. So James Safronas working hard at the wheel of the Audi as well. Again, early in the GT2 car's development phase. Looks like it's working its tyres a little aggressively on this Barcelona circuit. Circuit de Catalunya has moderate to low grip, but quite high wear rate. It's quite abrasive, particularly when it's hot, which it often is, particularly in the afternoon, which is where we're going to have our main races today. And that means that the slip angles are quite high. The tyre tends to overheat, tends to slide, and the more it slides, the more it overheats. That then becomes the vicious spiral. Down inside the pale blue car of Philippe Feligioni. And Feligioni goes by Stephen Earle in 1-1-1. Stephen Earle, the Iron Cup champion. And behind Stephen Earle is Luigi Lucchini, who started 3rd, looked to be shaping up to go between the front row starters. And we didn't really see the legacy of what happened in the first corner, why he ended up right back down at the tail of the field. Angelique de Tavernier's all-black Lamborghini under pressure from behind. And that is from Pavel Strukov. There's Lucchini going by Stephen Earle. And behind Earle is another of the 488s. So Rick Lovett and Louis-Philippe Cernan, the final 2 cars in the race. James Safronas still hanging on to 2nd place ahead of Jens Reiner Muller. Purple first sector from Murat Sultanov on this last lap that they're on at the moment. He's gone green in sector 2 as well. Denis Remignaco purple in sector 2, on his way, the race leader, to another fastest race lap. The cars in 2nd and 3rd. James Safronas last time round, 51.58 and a 151.63 for Jens Reiner Muller. Another fastest lap, 150.465 for the leader, 51.0859 for Jens Reiner Muller, 51.085, 4 thousandths of a second quicker for James Safronas. That's the battle for 2nd. Coach McKenzie in 4th. His best lap of the race just set. In fact, everybody setting their fastest laps of the race on this last time round. Everybody, that is, apart from the race leader, Jens Reiner Muller. All over the back of James Safronas. What's the battle between the 2 different cars? The Audi's got the speed on the straight, and the Honda catching back up into and through the corners. And that makes it hard to pass. You come out of the corner tantalizingly behind it, and then it just picks up the pace and opens the gap a little on the way down the straight. Race leader, Denis Remignaco, 3.5 seconds ahead at the beginning of the lap from the battle of 4 seconds. James Safronas and Jens Reiner Muller. Gap back then to Coach Mackenzie and Murad Sultanov in the multicoloured Ferrari, who's all over him. Pulled away from Frederic Fangio. Dilanta Malagamua under pressure from Angelique de Tavernier in contact. Little clumsy Luigi Lucchini turning around Pavel Strukov. Strukov get the Ferrari fired up again. Leader across the line, starting lap 4. James Safronas, Jens Reiner Muller for second place. Look at this, Luigi Lucchini sending it late and deep down into turn 10. The door was never going to stay open, was it? Beg your pardon, into turn 5, so... no, it was turn 10, so the door was never going to stay open there, I'm afraid. And... oh, Jens Reiner Muller running out a little wide there, losing ground to the GT2 Audi of James Safronas. Still our leader, Denis Remignaco, easing away. Safronas with a new fastest race lap, 1 minute 50.002. That's a fantastic effort from the Audi driver. Looks like he's found top gear now. And, oh, Muller had gone off in turn 2, and that was him coming back on in turn 3. Right, we saw the end of that moment. So he obviously dived in deep behind the Audi in turn 1 and 2 and did not have the grip that he had hoped there might be there. So now with the Audi 2 tenths quicker on the last lap, 2400ths in fact quicker on the last lap than the race leader, can Safronas run down the Mercedes? And if he can he catch him and pass him? And if he can he stay in front for the remainder of the race? Stewards will look at the incident between Luigi Lucchini and Pavel Strukov, as naturally they need to, because first of all there was contact between the cars, secondly one of them definitely lost out. Strukov is back underway again, but at the tail of the field, and took him a better part of 20 seconds to get fired up and back up to speed. So Strukov a long way back, as he was yesterday, having gone off in the gravel on the final corner. Well, leader Denis Remignaco can't respond at the moment to the fastest lap of James Safronas, but he was quicker than Safronas by a tenth, so the gap stays at 3.3 seconds. Luigi Lucchini having a little look down the inside of Pier Felicchioni. Can't get by the Lamborghini Gallardo. So there's 3 Lamborghinis in a row ahead of the number 7 Ferrari. Dilanta Malagamua in the dark blue Lamborghini Huracan, Angelique de Tavernier in the black Lamborghini Huracan. And now we get back to the battle with Coach Mackenzie and Murad Sultanov. This is 4th and 5th. Mackenzie, the Titanium Cup class leader. For drivers between 50 and 59, so early middle age. The Iron Cup being led by Stephen Earle from Rick Lovett and Louis-Philippe Sonnen. And that is for drivers 60 plus, so middle age. That's what I'm going with, and I'm sticking to it. James Safronas being caught again by Jens Reiner Muller in the Honda, and Murad Sultanov sticking to his task. The Ferrari trying to find a way by Coach Mackenzie's green and black Lamborghini. It's not proving easy, is it? And again, as yesterday, Frederic Fangio not quite on the pace of the top 5, but quicker than those behind. And in 6th position, his Ferrari sort of stuck in no man's land, really. Fangio lapping in the very high 51s, leaders in the mid to high 50s, and the group behind in the 53s. So Fangio needs a playmate, basically, to be lapping at roughly the same speed, so he either needs to find more pace or slow down a bit to race with the cars behind. Murad Sultanov in the multicoloured Ferrari having a little look at Coach Mackenzie. I think that was definitely more in hope than anticipation. Never looked seriously like he was going to have a big lunge. I don't think Mackenzie was particularly fooled by that either. James Safronas moving a little offline there, just to make sure that there's no inclination of Jens Reiner Muller to dive up the inside. Again, Sultanov having a little look at Mackenzie there. into 5, continuing to drop down away through the left-handed turn 6 and into the little 7-8 mini chicane. All sorts of camber changes going on here, cars riding those curbs. And Sultanov again in the second sector of the lap, really closing on the Lamborghini. That's exactly what happens with Jens Müller in the black, red and white Honda. Coaching up on the black and Dayglow Audi. And look at the way that the Honda's holding a little tighter line going in, making sure that James Sofronas can see him in the mirrors. The American driver in the GT2 Audi has to get the door shut very quickly there. Jens Müller really working hard at this, inventing new ways of piling the pressure on the Audi driver. Leaders come down again, or have come down to 3.1 seconds. What's it like at the end of this 7th lap out of 4.1? So, yeah, Sofronas in the battle to hang on to second with Jens Müller, starting to lose grip on closing down Dennis Remignaco, the race leader. Remignaco free from attack. That's not the case for the drivers in 2nd and 4th. Coach McKenzie in the green Lamborghini, very much under assault from behind. 23, Murad Sultanov having a look now here, gets a little overlap down the inside. Coach McKenzie's going to have to be very bold to get the door shut. He can't. Had to leave racing room or risk going off. And that was a really well taken opportunity. So Murad Sultanov up into 4th place. Don't throw it away now in excitement or overdriving. Oh, and off into the gravel has gone the leader. Dennis Remignaco and the Audi and Jens Müller. What's happened there? Is there fluid down? Well, yellow flags on the exit of the corner, but 1st and 2nd have both gone off, and Sofronas was on a brand new fastest lap. Purple sector 1, green sector 1 from Dennis Remignaco. They were both going quicker again, and they are both off in the gravel with half an hour still to go, and I think this is going to force the safety car out. Luigi Lucchini's in the pits, and so too is Pierre Feligioni. So 2 cars in the gravel, 2 in the pit lane. Now, the 2 in the pit lane, has one of them leaked fluid on the track? That is not a common error, and to have the next car on the scene go off as well, there's got to be oil down there, and it may well be that one of our 2 cars in the pit lane is the guilty party. But for Dennis Remignaco, there will be no second win, and there will be no second finish for James Sofronas in the Audi. Now, leaving the pit lane is the pale blue Lamborghini, and that is Pierre Feligioni, but still in the pit lane at BMS Scuderia Italia is the number 7 car of Luigi Lucchini. Safety car is out. There's no option there, really, was there? Well, that closes Frederick Fangio up onto the back of the 3rd place Lamborghini of Coach McKenzie. And in all of that shuffling, the move by Murad Sultanov to get by Coach McKenzie for what was then 4th has become magically the lead, as Sultanov went off into the gravel, as Remignaco went off into the gravel, as Sofronas went off into the gravel, and as Jens Müller went off into the gravel. Now, ironically, if Müller had managed to get by the Audi on the previous lap when he almost did, he would have been the man who was just fractionally in front when Sultanov went off and not fractionally behind. And I think it was the fact that he had a tiny bit more time to react that allowed Renault Müller to survive. Well, back out of the pit lane is the number 2 car of Pierre Feligioni, but the car that remains in the pit lane, Luigi Lucchini in the number 7 BMS Scuderia Italia Ferrari. I'm not sure that they would have sent out a leaking Lamborghini, But I think perhaps the Ferrari has dramas. That, for all the world, though, looks like the leader hitting a patch of oil that nobody had previously seen. And following him into the gravel, you saw in the background there the Audi coming down, and you're coming down into this long left-hander where you don't see what's happening in front. The Audi goes off. Muller, who's a fraction behind, just survives, gets through the gravel trap, but by the time he rejoins, Murad Sultanov has gone by him, and Muller comes in behind Coach McKenzie, who can't pass because they're still under yellows. So they have rescued Denis Remenyako, and he is back underway. And now they're going to try and drag James Sofronas out of the gravel trap. The car would appear to be undamaged, but I think they've both gone, they will both go a lap down, 2 laps down, behind the safety car. So in the pit lane is still car number 7. I think we must assume, therefore, that the oil has come from the BMS Scuderia Italia Ferrari of Luigi Lucchini. Again, doesn't have to be engine oil, could be from transmission, could be coolant, because the coolant they use in the radiators, although water-based, is usually very, very little water and much more chemical for added cooling, and that is like ice when it's on the track, is just as slippery as oil and even harder to see because it doesn't have the sheen that oil does. So it could be engine, could be transmission, could be could even be brake fluid, frankly, anything that's enough to rob a tyre of grip. Marshall's well rehearsed at digging cars out of the gravel traps here at the Circuit de Catalunya, and returning to the pit lane is the number 2 car. Again, not entirely sure that this is the one that's responsible for the oil slick. Further up along the pit lane from Pierre Feligioni is the abandoned car of Luigi Lucchini. Well, there is Pierre Feligioni. And I think it's whatever ails the Gallardo. I think that's probably the end of the race for him, which leaves only Huracans out on track, as far as Lamborghini is concerned. Yeah, there's the BMS Scuderia Italia car. That's going nowhere. Drivers out. So Luigi Lucchini can't see a trail of oil leading up to where he stopped, or coolant or anything else. But it seems likely that one or other of the cars has dropped whatever it was that the leaders found. And since Lucchini came into the pits and has not left, I'm not sure we're placing the blame at his door, but it looks likely that his car may have been the one that caused the slippery surface and inconvenience. James Sofronas on his way out of the gravel trap now, I think. And there's Denis Remenyako in the background. He's catching the safety car queue. So apart from the fact he's had a very lurid high-speed spin into the gravel, car seems to be otherwise A-OK. May well have flat-spotted the tyres. They have not managed to get the Audi out. So now they're going to try and pull it backwards. And this just indicates, you know, things you have to think about that as a layman you might not necessarily think about when you're developing a car for racing. Where are you going to put the towing eyes? Well, you know, you think engine, brakes, you think suspension, you think cooling, you think aerodynamics. But it's the real basic fundamental stuff as well. It's the driver's cockpit environment and really silly stuff like a towing eye. 99% of the time, you don't need it. But when you need it, boy, you do need it. And of course, they are mandatory as well. So the cars can be rescued from gravel traps. In the background, that's exactly what you see. Cars often much more easily towed out backwards because, of course, the front is normally much lower and closer to the ground and much more, therefore, of a snow plough. If you tow it out backwards, the back is higher and tends to dig itself less into the gravel. So as far as experience is concerned, Audi will have lost 2, 3, 4 laps, perhaps, of on-track action. But on the other hand, if the car is undamaged, then Sofronas will continue to produce good gen for them as well. There he is. Little wriggle of the steering to shake things free. check everything. Oh, you can hear it rattling like a machine gun as the gravel comes out underneath. Check everything, up and down the gearbox, make sure you're finding all the gears. Keep checking the brakes, wriggling the steering, just trying to feel if the car is different in any way. And then the safety car will remain out while he catches the cue. That will probably take them the rest of this lap. So we probably will not go green at the end of this one. Probably be at the end of the next lap. Dennis Remignacco, the fact that he's a lap behind, oh, yes, it might even be at the end of this lap, actually. If James Sofronas gets the hammer down, I think the Audi might well catch. Yeah, here we go. So race control. Now that the gravel trap is clear, the rescue vehicles are back in their starting positions. Race control ready to let the safety car peel off at the end of this one. So again, swift work from race director Alain Adam and his colleagues here on site in the Circuit de Catalunya to rescue the two cars. And we are getting ready to go back to green flag racing. So to reset the field, the multicoloured Ferrari 23, Murat Sultanov, Jens Reiner Müller, the champion in the Honda, Coach McKenzie, the titanium champion, in third place. Then Frédéric Fangio and Dilanta Malaga-Mua in fifth, ahead of Angelique de Tavernier. Dr. Stephen Earle is in seventh place, leading the Iron Cup from Rick Lovett and Louis-Philippe Sonnen. And then Pavel Strukov with the blue stripe down the black and chrome Ferrari. And then Dennis Remignacco, our race one winner here, a lap behind, but guaranteed to start fighting his way past these cars immediately, because A, that would seem like a very fun thing to do, and B, he'll be frustrated not to be leading the race. So passing everybody in sight and proving that he could have won it to them as well as himself. Undoubtedly, that will be what he's got to do for remaining 20 minutes. Safety car is in the pit lane. We are back to under green flag conditions. Race resumes. Murat Sultanov with Jens Reiner Müller. Müller with the dust of the gravel trap all down the side of the Honda. Let's see if he can make a pass here and get by the man who he beat to the championship crown. As Murat Sultanov second in the title race ahead of Coach McKenzie. And the 1, 2, 3 in the championship are 1, 2, 3 in the race, but not in the same order. Dennis Remignacco at the back of the queue, yet to be caught by James Sofronas. And the Audi driver now, I think, may struggle to catch this queue for another couple of minutes. Jens Reiner Müller looking around the outside. Sultanov maybe not with the tyre temperature he needs in the car. Away from the restart. And Jens Reiner Müller really piling on the pressure there. The Dane wants another win. The only race weekend he's been winless so far was in Le Castellet, second in race one, fifth in race two. He won both encounters at the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza, eighth and first in Circuit Misano, first and second at Spa-Francorchamps, and yesterday finishing the race in fourth position. So Jens Reiner Müller looking for win number 5 of the season, in which he has taken this GT Sports Club title. Murat Sultanov holding him off, and the longer Sultanov stays in front, the more his tyre pressures will be back up to scratch. Jens Reiner Müller doing a great job of managing the Honda, its tyre temperatures. Coach McKenzie under pressure for third place from Frédéric Fangio. Said earlier on, as Fangio was dropped by the lead group, he needed either them to come back to him or him to drop back to the group behind. Well, both happened. The group behind caught Fangio, and Fangio caught the group in front. So the blue Lamborghini behind, Dilanta Malaga-Mua from Angelique de Tavernier, and the Russians at the back of the queue, Dennis Remignacco behind Pavel Strukov. Spent a lap behind Strukov and has not got by yet. Looks like Murat Sultanov has slightly weathered the storm, but again, offline there. Going into the long right-hander at Repsol turn 4. Down the hill into 5. The Honda is all over the back of the Ferrari, and the Ferrari is not using the full width of the road, not the full racing line. It's not leaving the door open on the inside for Jens Reiner Müller, because I'm sure that Sultanov feels he is not free from attack. Very conscious of the Honda being all over the back of him. And Müller with a quicker, fastest lap than the Ferrari. This time out of turn 9, gets the run down the inside into turn 10. Sultanov goes for the cutback. Great racing between the two of them. Tiny rub, but they both survive. And again, Sultanov in a little deep. Oh, and Jens Reiner Müller forcing the issue. Sultanov just holds on. And Müller very careful there not to spin the Ferrari around his nose, which would have happened if he just kept his foot on the throttle, breathed a fraction of the pressure off. They both survive. So great to and fro racing action between Murat Sultanov, the race leader in the Ferrari, and Jens Reiner Müller in the Honda in second. Third place, Coach McKenzie in his Lamborghini. Fourth place, Frederick Fangio in the Ferrari. Now then, with Müller having to take a little bit of a breath, is McKenzie going to be able to close in and have a look? And if he does, is Fangio going to benefit? Fangio is right behind now that he's been able to catch up under the safety car with the cars in front. He seems to have the pace to stay with them, as do Malagamua and De Tavernier behind in the two Lamborghinis. Stephen Earle not too far behind them either. Stephen Earle with his fastest race lap last time round as well. Everybody going pretty quickly at the moment. Fuel load lightening as the tyres wear. Have a look again. Jens Reiner Müller around the outside of turn 9. Don't think Murat Sultanov really thought he was coming there. Müller gets in front, but Sultanov cuts back to the inside. And as he runs wide in turn 10, Müller again alongside him as they go left into 11. And just relieves the pressure enough not to spin out the Ferrari. Great racing. Again, watch here. Müller gets quickly off the corner, but he realizes that there is going to be an overlap. Sultanov does well to hold on there. And the Honda driver just doing enough to relieve the pressure, make sure the Ferrari did not spin across his bows. That would have given the Honda the lead, but almost guaranteed a penalty. Murat Sultanov leading from Jens Reiner Müller. Coach McKenzie still third, the top titanium driver. They're dropping McKenzie, and McKenzie in turn dropping Fangio. So the battle for victory, it would seem, will be Sultanov versus Reiner Müller, with McKenzie in third and starting to creep away from Frederick Fangio in fourth. Jolanta Malagamua in the blue Lamborghini ahead of Angelique de Tavernier. And de Tavernier is all over the back of her rival, trying to find a way by the other HB Racing Lamborghini. Stephen Earle's right with them in 1-1-1. There he is in the Dayglow red Ferrari. Looking to pick up the pieces. Angelique de Tavernier gets her nose inside. Can't quite find the traction there to make a move. Stephen Earle showing his nose as well. Entertaining stuff. And there has been a change. I was just looking at the timing screen to see if Denis Remenjako had got by Pavel Strukov, and indeed he has on this lap. And the Mercedes is now closing in on Stephen Earle from behind. So Malagamua, de Tavernier, Earle and Remenjako. Don't forget Remenjako lapped by the field when he was in the gravel trap, but he has got by Strukov, Cernan and Lovett in the 3 laps since the restart. Back with second place, Jens Reiner Müller in the Honda. Now, was that what he had? Was that all he had? Or is he now trying to give his tyres a rest and maybe have a go at Sultanov, the leader, in the last 10 minutes? Coach McKenzie in third, 2 seconds behind the leaders last time round. Gap's now out to 3.7. Murad Sultanov, best race lap for him, 1:49.63. Jens Reiner Müller still with the fastest race lap, 1:49.38. And Stephen Earle goes inside, defending the inside and allowing the Mercedes to go around the outside of him. So Denis Remignaco not moving up the order, but carving through traffic as he unlaps himself from some of these cars. He's a lap back. James Sofronas in the Audi 3 laps back. So yesterday's race winner in the silver Mercedes, unfortunate to get caught out as the leader so often does on oil that hasn't been spotted. Now working his way through the field, we saw Angelique de Tavernier, or we can see that Angelique de Tavernier has got ahead of Atlanta Malagamua. And here is Murad Sultanov, Jens Reiner Müller, heading towards, or inside the final 12 minutes, heading towards 10 minutes to go at the end of this lap. Coach McKenzie in third, Frederic Fangio in fourth, and here comes yesterday's race winner, Denis Remignaco, down the inside, overruns turn 10, and through again goes Atlanta Malagamua. Oh, and that was very clumsy by the Mercedes driver, completely unnecessary. All he's doing is passing cars because he can, and he's having fun. He knows he's a lap back. Now he's waiting, I think, for indication from the marshals, or either that or for the Mercedes engine to catch. Ran out wide. And then what was going on here in his head? Not really quite sure. If you're battling for the race win or the championship win, maybe, but when you're a lap behind, passing cars that you're not racing with, I don't know. Stephen Earle goes by the Lamborghini. Is there a puncture on the Lamborghini from that contact, or has that just unsettled Atlanta Malagamua? He's got James Sofronas in the Audi behind. Let's hope that Sofronas makes a better fist of going by. Stephen Earle now up to 6th position. And Atlanta Malagamua is in 7th place. James Sofronas in the Audi, just to remind you, after that trip to the gravel, 3 laps behind. So again, he'll be looking to try and get the most out of the car, but without interrupting the race of the guys who, through no fault of their own, are several laps ahead of him, and through no fault of his either, are several laps ahead of him. So Sofronas has the advantage with the Audi of pace on his side. Where can he use it? Well, he shows outside to Malagamua, whereas the move was always going to come down the inside, controls it neatly under braking, and through he goes. Again, makes no difference to Atlanta Malagamua, who is still in 7th place. Now we get back to our race leaders. Murad Sultanov and Jens Reiner Müller, a second apart. And that gap down to under a second now as we're inside the final 10 minutes. So we've seen Jens Reiner Müller able to make moves on the Ferrari driver. Will he be able to make one stick and claim victory in the final race of the year? Coach McKenzie's third, Frederic Fangio in 4th. Stephen Earle, you just saw, in 6th behind Angelique de Tavernier. And then here comes a change as Pavel Strukov dives inside Rick Lovett. So Strukov moving up into what is now 8th position. Rick Lovett in 9th spot. And he is 2nd of our Iron Cup races. And Murad Sultanov, race winner once this year. 2nd race at Paul Ricard, having retired from race 1. So I'm sure the Kessel Racing Ferrari driver will be really eager to cling on here. Finished in 2nd place in yesterday's race, behind Denis Remignaco, having led early on. And then fought his way back into a podium position and then into second place. Jens Reiner, fourth place in yesterday's encounter. Couldn't quite get by the Audi of James Sofronas right at the end of the race and get onto the overall podium. Whoa, in very deep there, the Ferrari, Murat Sultanov, giving Jens Reiner all the time back that he's worked so hard to try and build up over the Honda. 9 tenths apart last time round, 3 tenths apart this time round. Game on, 7.5 minutes to go, and the champion chases the vice champion. Jens Reiner in the Honda, up behind Murat Sultanov in the Ferrari. So who's going to come out on top in this one? Seems that the Ferrari's got a little more pace off the corners. The Honda a little bit more under braking from turn in to mid-corner. And the problem with that is that you always end up catching when you want to be passing. So can Muller work some magic here? He definitely caught the Ferrari driver and everybody else by surprise when he came round the outside on the exit of turn 9. And maybe he's going to shape up another move there. Out of 7 and 8, he's not close enough this time. He's come over the brow, drops away on the outside of turn 9. That's why everybody runs out so wide there. And Sultanov in the middle of the road. Both cars bearing a little scar of contact from that move earlier on. See a little bit of the bodywork flapping on the Ferrari, and the Honda's nose is just slightly not lined up. The panel gaps aren't what they once were. And Muller maybe running out of tyre compared to the Ferrari. Ran out very wide at the bottom of the hill in turn 10. And that's good news for Murat Sultanov, the race leader. And not good news for Jens Reiner, the pursuer. As they get to the line this time, it's inside 6 minutes to go in the race and the season. And Sultanov back out to 7 tenths in front. So he's found another 2 or 3 car lengths on the lap. But again, Muller deep in under braking into turn 1. You could see how much the car was squirming as he asked it to stop later than it was really keen on. Can the NSX claim a 5th win of the season? Well, if it finishes as it does, this will be a 3rd, 2nd place to go with his 4 wins for Jens Reiner. It should be 7 podium finishes out of 10 races. Not at all shabby, along with the title, champion in the GT Sports Club. But I'm sure the Dane, this close to the lead, would love to be able to find a way to wriggle by the Ferrari again. Out of turn 9, down the hill, not going to be close enough in turn 10. Izzy Sultanov's not defending now. He goes to the middle of the road. He goes in early and shallow, and that allows Jens Muller to sweep out wide. There's not enough room between 10 and 11 to squeeze through, and the Ferrari had enough off the corner, but the Dane is closer. Now, can he find something onto the straight? Down into the 14-15 chicane. Not close enough to have a lunge there. Hops the curbs, but the Ferrari looks pretty composed. Jens Reiner comes across the line. It's going to be a gain about 7 tenths back, and it takes the entire length of the straight for him to catch back up to the Ferrari. Seems to get off corner 16 faster than the Honda. And now he's back with him. Leaders sweep through 1 and 2 around turn 3 and heading up towards turn 4. Again, the Ferrari in shallow, defending the inside line against Jens Reiner. Murat Sultanov doing exactly what he needs to do, not worrying about his own pace, just making sure that the Honda has to go the long way round the outside if he wants to make a move. And the real problem for that is that Jens Reiner Müller doesn't mind going the long way round the outside if he has to make a move. He's quite happy to do that. So the Ferrari, Murat Sultanov, cannot afford to get in too deep and outbrake himself. Down the middle of the road again he comes into turn 10, and again Müller able to use more the racing line, but the Ferrari in front is still tantalizingly out of reach. And again, little mistake there by Müller, and that gives the Ferrari more leeway as they head down to the end of the lap. Got to be super clean, but he's in the turbulent air working behind the Ferrari. That means his tyres are working harder than the Ferraris because his aerodynamics aren't quite as efficient. And even on these GT3 cars, that is making a difference. Now he's closer. Now he closes a little faster. Gap at the line was only 0.3. Jens Reiner Müller, is he going to be able to make a move down here into turn 1? Shows his nose on the inside. He's trying to force the Ferrari driver to go in too deep. But Murat Sultanov was wise to that one, controls the speed into turn 1 and 2, and still has the lead exiting turn 3. Further back, all sorts of action. Contact there on the number 50 car, and that is Louis-Philippe Sonnen. Pavel Strukov comes across the line, ahead of Delanta Malagamua. And Malagamua showing his nose on the inside as the Lamborghini got some pace to go down the inside. He doesn't, cuts back again. Having a second bite at the cherry. Does he get through? Rick Lovett right behind in the red Ferrari. And Strukov holds on. Final lap of the race, final lap of the weekend, final lap of the season. Pavel Strukov 7th. Delanta Malagamua in 8th in the blue Lamborghini ahead of Rick Lovett and Louis-Philippe Sonnen. They're being chased by Denis Remignaco, who's still a lap behind, but looks like he's going to set another fastest race lap. Remignaco, 1:49.014 last time round, fastest lap of the race. Should be winning this, but isn't through no fault of his own. Last lap of the season. The championship runner-up looks like he's going to claim his second win of the year. And Jens Reiner Müller, the champion, looks like he's going to claim his 7th podium, his 3rd runner-up spot. Checkered flag is out. Victory for Murat Sultanov. No, one to go. There is one to go. They beat the checkered flag by 14 seconds. So Jens Reiner Müller has one more lap at the Circuit de Catalunya. Well, luckily for Murat Sultanov, he wasn't counting his chickens there. He was waiting, racing on until he'd seen the checkered flag, and it was not there. They got to the line with 14 seconds still on the clock. So Jens Reiner Müller with one more chance. Here is James Sofronas in the Audi. I think he's just gone by Stephen Earl, who is running in 6th position. Earl remains in 6th, the Audi 3 laps down. 2 American drivers, they've had probably track battles before, or at least been in the same field before a number of times in racing in IMSA. Halfway round the final lap, out of turn 9 for the last time. Murat Sultanov in the multicolored Ferrari, leading from Jens Reiner Müller in the red, white and black Honda NSX. The 488 GT3, Murat Sultanov got in front when the top 3 in the race went off on oil. Jens Reiner Müller was then in 3rd position, but the Ferrari had got by before Müller escaped the gravel trap. The gravel trap that claimed Denis Remignaco and James Sofronas, who were then running 1-2. Clock has run out, and time is against the Honda driver. It will be victory for Murat Sultanov, win number 2 of his season. What a way to head into the end of the year. Championship runner-up victory here. Jens Reiner Müller taking 2nd. Coach McKenzie will head to the line in 3rd place. On the podium in the Lamborghini, ahead of Frédéric Fangio and Angelique de Tavernier. There is Fangio in 4th. De Tavernier is behind him. She is in 5th. Stephen Earle, the Iron Cup champion. He will head home in 6th position ahead of this battle. Pavel Strukov, Dilanta Malagamua, Rick Lovett, the green and white Ferrari of Louis-Philippe Cernan, and the man who perhaps should have won this, Denis Remignaco. He was leading comfortably, going away from the field in the Mercedes that won yesterday's first race when he was caught out on unspotted oil. So Strukov 7th, Malagamua 8th, Lovett 9th, Cernan in 10th position. Remignaco finishing 11th, and James Sofronas taking the checkered flag in the Audi in 12th position. 3 laps down, stranded in the gravel trap that we've just passed at turn 7. Well, a well-earned victory for Murad Sultanov. Led early in race 1 yesterday, fought his way back onto the podium twice in a topsy-turvy race. He ended up finishing in 2nd place yesterday, victorious today. So 2 podium finishes, including a win. He's had podium finishes in Monza, 3rd and 2nd, in Misano 3rd, in Spa 3rd, and here 2nd and now 1st. Victory in the final race of the Blancpain GT Sports Club for 2019 to Murad Sultanov. The champion Jens Reiner Muller behind him in 2nd. Coach McKenzie, the titanium champion, in 3rd, completing the podium, and Stephen Earle 6th, the top Iron Cup driver in the race and over the course of the season. Well, yesterday, James Sofronas making a podium finishing debut for the GT2 Audi R8 today. Looked like that was going to happen again, but he and Denis Remignaco, as well as Jens Reiner Muller, caught out by oil. We think possibly dropped by the number 7 Luigi Lucchini-driven BMS Scuderia Ferrari. Well, there is our happy winner. Happy and hot and sweaty, I would think. That was a busy race for Murad Sultanov. And the Kessel Racing Ferrari held up very well. He had enough pace and enough racecraft as well to hold off Jens Reiner Muller. He saw where the dangers lay and managed to keep the door closed on the Dane all the way through. So the guys from Yas, who designed, developed and build these Honda and Acura NSX GT3 cars, very happy with that. They've won the championship, and Reiner Racing winning the team's title as well. The debrief begins here, but let's catch up with our winner. Louise Beckett is with Murad Sultanov.
Murad Sultanov, if I could just disturb you for a moment, we can see the slight damage there, and that certainly was an eventful race.
Yes, sorry, I don't understand what they say, because please repeat.
It was eventful. There was lots going on in that race for you.
Yes, I always try to push, but at the end of the season, I tried to push maximum and more than 100%. So it happens. So nothing, no one, everyone is finished. So it's a race. I'm happy.
Good. Glad you're happy. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Louise, and well done, Murad Sultanov. I have to say, I couldn't have managed even a word of that in Russian. So, yeah, exactly, that's racing. It was clean, it was close, no harm, no foul. And Jens Reiner Muller, his car bearing a tiny little bit of damage as well, but that is the mark of close racing. In the all-red Ferrari, Stephen Earle, the Iron Cup champion. Coach McKenzie, the titanium champion, just in front of his green and black Lamborghini. And McKenzie on the overall podium. Starting from the front row of the grid with the Mercedes of Denis Remignaco. But the big winner at the start from 6 on the grid up into 2nd, James Sofronas in the Audi. Fronas coming under pressure immediately from the Honda of Jens Reiner Müller. Contact between Luigi Lucchini in the number 7 Ferrari and Pavel Strukov. Little off-track excursion for Jens Reiner Müller. And then this move for 4th place. Coach Mackenzie losing out to Murad Sultanov, and as the top 3 went off, Sultanov getting by into the lead. At the restart from behind the safety car, Sultanov the leader from Jens Reiner Müller. And Müller putting in a great move, catching the Ferrari driver unawares around the outside of turn 9. Little bit of contact down into turn 10. Looked like it was all done. Not for Strukov though. He said, I pushed more than 100%. We managed to keep it under control. And then a little bit of contact, but they both survived again into turn 13. Well, recovering from his gravel trap excursion, Denis Remignaco not able to work his way back onto the lead lap. Stephen Earle moving up the order. And in the end, despite valiant chase from the Honda driver Jens Reiner Müller, the Ferrari man held out. Murad Sultanov rounding out the GT Sports Club season with his 2nd win of the season. And the championship runner-up behind Jens Reiner Müller. Well, for the Audi men, lots learned about the GT2 R8. And lots more development work still to go in, undoubtedly. Long winter stretching in front of them, where they will be doing as much track work as they possibly can with that car, continuing the development program. Certainly a dramatic looking color scheme and a dramatic looking car underneath it. We're ready now for our drivers to come out onto the GT Sports Club podium. First of all, we'll have our overall podium. And on that will be all 3 of our top points scorers. Jens Reiner Müller, the champion, from Murad Sultanov and Coach Mackenzie. Denis Remignaco moving up into 4th place ahead of the absent Lee Mole and Mario Cordoni. Stephen Earle also vaulting himself up the order with a good race weekend here in Barcelona to 7th place in the overall standings. Coach Mackenzie, as well as being 3rd place overall, was the Titanium Cup champion. Stephen Earle, the Iron Cup title winner. So, leading out our podium. 3rd place, Coach Mackenzie, the HP Racing International Lamborghini. There is Coach Mackenzie. I think they're all looking pretty warm, actually, after today's encounter. 2nd place for the Dane, Jens Reiner Müller, the Honda driving champion. And Murad Sultanov in the Kessel Racing Ferrari, man who wins the final race of the year. James Fronas joining them on the podium, our GT2 winner. The Russian anthem for our race winner, Murad Sultanov. Started 4th on the grid. Good, solid race from him to claim victory. 3rd place trophy going to Coach Mackenzie. In 2nd spot, our season's champion, Jens Reiner Moller. And the race winner here, the championship runner-up, Murad Sultanov. James Sofronas, the GT2 winner there on the right-hand side. And he will take his trophy from Andrea Caputo and join the top 3 for the group shot. A happy group of drivers. Job well done by James Sofronas and the Audi Sport team. GT2 returning to the racetracks for the first time in many years. So, quick burst of champagne. Everybody will walk off the podium smelling like a winner, and rightly so. Top 3 in the championship, in the top 3 positions in the final race of the year, very much reflecting what has gone before. And James Sofronas with the Audi GT2, perhaps the shape of things to come. Well, 2 more podiums to go for the Titanium Cup and the Iron Cup. So we're going to start as yesterday with our Titanium Cup winners. So, Dilanta Malagamua and Coach Mackenzie. Dilanta in second, and Coach Mackenzie the winner, as he was yesterday. So the Sri Lankan in his Lamborghini finishing second here, and I haven't got an update on the points. Not quite sure that that's going to be enough to overhaul Lee Mole for the runner-up spot in the overall standings in the Titanium Cup. However, another podium finish for him. So he's had a couple of podiums already. Second place in the first race in Le Castellet, third place in class in the second race in Misano, and 2 podium finishes here as well at the Circuit de Catalunya. And didn't compete in Spa-Francorchamps, as for many of these drivers, not always possible to free up the time to compete at every weekend. Otherwise, he would have been the series runner-up guaranteed, pretty much. Coach Mackenzie adding 2 wins to the 4 he's previously taken this season in the Titanium Cup, so 6 wins from the 10 starts this year, 1 retirement, and that was in Le Castellet in race 1. So other than that, Coach Mackenzie on the podium in class each time out. And the final podium of the year for the Blancpain GT Sports Club is for the Iron Cup. So for drivers 60 plus. And again, top 3 in the series, top 3 in the race here. Rick Lovett, Louis-Philippe Cernan and Stephen Earle. And Stephen Earle, again, I can't help but use the phrase spring chicken, because he definitely is younger than his years. very, very happy, Stephen Earle. I think he's enjoyed his weekend here in Barcelona enormously. A veteran of racing in the US, but in the last, well, decade at least, he has experienced a whole host of European racetracks as well, racing in various different categories. Particularly strong season this year. He claims his 9th win in the Iron Cup out of 10 starts. Only race 1 in Le Castellet escaped him. So congratulations on a dominant season to Stephen Earle, and well done to all the drivers in the GT Sports Club 2019. From Barcelona, it's a champagne-y goodbye.